Hello friends, and welcome. My name is Laura, and I go by Aurora Illuminates, and I would like to add another dimension to this channel. This isn't going to be a healing session. This is an educational, quick 10-15 minute chat looking at some beautiful energy that will be influencing us for the next couple weeks. We'll be chatting about Mercury Retrograde in Capricorn, which begins today, December 29th, 2022, and will end on January 18th, 2023. Mercury, the planet of our minds, our thought processes, our communication, enters its fourth retrograde season of 2022 and the first of 2023. Ancient astrologers believed that when a planet was in retrograde, it was traveling through the underworld, the shadow world, and our unconscious mind, bringing things from our shadow into the light. Retrograde is a time of reassessing, reevaluating, and taking time to integrate those lessons thus far. A time to slow down and turn within, to reflect on what has been. It is a time to pay attention to the signs and synchronicities around us, to listen to our intuition and allow it to guide our inner processing. Mercury retrograde is a natural rhythm, part of our planet's natural cycle around the Earth. It is part of our yearly dance through the cosmic skies and happens 3 or 4 times a year. It is a wonderful energy to learn, to connect with, and work with. In pop astrology, Mercury retrograde is given a bad name, with all these wordings and lists of things we should avoid. Unhelpful and totally irrelevant advice that glosses over the root cause of this minor inconvenience that has become glamorized. Issues with communication, entering bad negotiations, and canceled travel plans are a favorite focus of this pop astrology stereotyping. While on the surface, it may seem like these things are happening more frequently during these retrograde times. Maybe there is a reason why. Are your communications false, forced, or unaligned? Have you been lying to yourself and others? Are you making commitments that go against your gut instincts or rushing into things? Are your canceled plans even something you want to be doing, or are you going because you feel like you have no choice but to attend? Scratch beneath the surface, and you will see that your patterns are in fact what are causing these inconveniences, these minor disasters, these setbacks, not poor Mercury's movement through our skies. Mercury retrograde is a great time to connect with ourselves and with the rhythms around us. To take time to connect back in and see where you stand and how you're communicating with ourselves and others, how we're processing the things that have happened, and how we are sending messages to the world around us, allowing us to step out of this idea of linear progression, of constant self-improvement, of pushing forward, allowing us to focus on the creative process, the internal mechanisms, and the root of where our creative communication is coming from. Allowing us to see that progress, growth, and improvement is a circular path rather than a linear path, a process that is more up and down, release and growth, forward and backwards, allowing us to bring awareness to this process, to these cycles, to these rhythms and energy flows. Retrograde periods can be treated as a time of rest, introspection, putting the pieces together. In a society that doesn't want us to slow down, the universe is guiding us to do exactly that. For rest and introspection are very important parts of our growth cycle. This Mercury retrograde is occurring in the zodiac sign of Capricorn, a cardinal earth sign represented by the sea goat. We also have sitting in Capricorn the Sun, Venus, and Pluto. Mercury, the messenger, with the ability to move between worlds, the ability to modulate between different worlds, to alchemize and create. Mercury, the storyteller, meeting Capricorn, the sea goat, with the ability to climb the highest mountains and swim to the deepest depths. The energy of persistence, hard work, and constant movement forward is bringing a beautiful mix of energies to this retrograde. With the Sun and Venus sitting close to this retrograde, it's supported by our grounded self and our unconditional love. Also bringing energy to this mix of retrograde energies is the still retrograde planet Mars in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so this energy is going to be called forth during this retrograde. With Mars being an inner planet and having a strong connection to our energy levels, our emotional expressions, our drive, motivation, and focus, the ways that we take action in the world, this link to Mercury through the sign of Gemini is going to bring forth these already present Mars retrograde energies. This may influence our energy levels, our drive to be active, and where we are putting our time and energy. These planets in retrograde together are going to allow us to look at our expressions and how we ground them in action. Are we acting in alignment with how we feel, how we think, whom we really are? Giving us this energy of quiet solitude to look within and see how we are processing the things we see around us, how we are turning up. Capricorn energy is going to aid us in finding practical solutions to the communication problems that may be coming to the surface, allowing us to see where problems are stemming from and guiding us to ground those communications that support our growth and release those that do not. Capricorn energy is reminding us that things aren't built in a day, but through a methodical process of steady steps that build one upon the other. This foundational energy is going to aid us in changing and adapting the way that we process, interpret, and react to the world around us, allowing us to act from a more centered place, from our foundation, from our core. These retrograde energies are going to aid us in assessing our foundation and where we need to rebuild or strengthen our support, allowing us to communicate where we need to change our actions, where we need to take action, and where we need to focus our action, allowing us to slow down and assess our boundaries and where we can take steps to stand our ground, create structure, and care for ourselves. This Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is all about coming back to ourselves, our inner processing, our inner mechanisms, and seeing where they stem from. learning to assess our foundations and see where these foundations have come from. What information have they been built on? Allowing us to be present with ourselves and where we stand in this moment, whom we are now, whom we have been, what we have built. Allowing us to ground, to free ourselves from the influences of society and those around us. It's going to aid us in reclaiming our attention and what feeds our soul. Where are we putting our time and attention? Focusing us on being more present and focusing on the next steps. It's about honoring our limitations and seeing them as something to work with, not to be limited by. Celebrating ourselves for who we are and accepting ourselves as we stand. Mercury Retrograde is a reminder that nothing is linear, that cycles hold their purpose, that we have the ability to give ourselves grace and work through any restrictions, limitations, and challenges that may come to light. That turning within is part of the growth process, part of the natural cycle of life, part of our renewal and transformation. It's also a reminder that if we avoid the inner work, we are clouded from the signs. We are in denial of our part in the process. These cycles and energies that restrict and inhibit us will continue to come to pass. For until we do the work, until we look with clarity, until we see from another perspective, until we make active choices, we will continue to operate from the same place stuck in the past. For action equals evolution, and nourishment equals growth. How we work with Mercury retrograde and the energies around us is all individual. It all depends on what resonates with us, what is in alignment with where we are on our path, how we choose to interact with these energies are our own. But know that you are supported and guided through this process. Those things that come up from the shadow side over these next couple weeks are not coming forth to hurt and deter you on your path. They're coming forward to be acknowledged and released, processed and integrated, allowing us to hold within us those things that support us and release those things that are no longer serving us. I hope that you enjoyed this informational chat about the Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. Until the next time, goodbye, my friends.